Alright, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Kettlehead Brewing Company, and they are out of both Tilton and Franklin, New Hampshire, and this is their Cereal Killer. So they're calling this one a chocolate cocoa cereal milk stout that comes in at 9% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review, this can is just over 2.5 months old. I'm gonna give a huge thanks. Shout out once again to Jim from Kettlehead for this beer, so big thanks to him. I want to say it was about around 2 months ago, I attended the 2024 Rochester Real Beer Expo that took place at Innovative Field in downtown Rochester, New York. Kettlehead was one of the breweries pouring at said festival, and at the end of the night after the festival, Jim sent me home with a mixed 4-pack of their beer, and this is the third and final beer that I'm reviewing from said mixed pack, and I say the third, not the fourth, because the other beer was their Pulpy, which I've already reviewed on the channel, and I just enjoyed that one off camera, and it's always tasty. Nice beer. But yeah, I'm really excited about this one because, full disclosure, I had this one at the festival. However, I was many pours in. It was towards the end of the night. And at that point, when it comes to festivals and, you know, your 3 sheets to the wind, basically you can eat, I don't know, I'm speaking for myself here, no one else, but for myself personally, I can either, the information that I can remember about a beer is whether or not I liked it. That's it. Not specific things, it's just, was it good or not? I give this a 4 out of 5 on Untappd, so I'd imagine that I thought it was pretty solid, pretty good, tasty, but I don't know much about it. All I know is it does say it contains lactose, being a milk stout, and they're going for basically Cocoa Puffs in Imperial Milk Stout form. Now, growing up, when it comes to like chocolate cereal, Cocoa Puffs are fine, but I like me some Cocoa Krispies. And if we want to say like another type of cereal, I would go with Cookie Crisp, even though that was like basically eating cookies for breakfast. Yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, I'm going to see what this one is all about. I hope it tastes like Cocoa Puffs or some kind of cereal. I think they're making a line out of this one because on Instagram it was like, what other cereals should we replicate next? I don't know. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I always have fun with Cinnamon Toast Crunch beers. So this is out of my darker beer fridge at 54 degrees Fahrenheit. And at festivals, usually the beers are colder too. So I gave it a 4 out of 5. But again, this was probably, I don't want to say ice cold, but it was probably pretty cold and can't really tell a lot of times. So anyway, pitch black, poured out pitch black. There are chunks of shit. Now, I don't know if they actually brew this one with Cocoa Puffs or condition on Cocoa Puffs. But I don't know if you can see, my camera sucks, but there are a lot of floaties at the bottom. A lot of floaties. Now, I didn't review this one right away because, again, I had it at the fest. It's a darker beer. It's been in my fridge since Jim gave it to me. Now, it is not super fresh anymore, just over 2.5 months old. However, I think we should be okay, but that's probably part of the reason for the chunks. Hold it up to the light. Can't see through it. Pitch black. About a finger of this straight-up mocha-colored head. Pretty creamy looking. It plays the role, in my opinion. Let me see if I can swirl up a better head here. But that looks beautiful if we're talking about, an Imperial Milk Stout of some sort. Anyway, let's get a nose. Whew. I just got the Cocoa Puffs. Like, the first thing I got was like sweet milk chocolate, 100%. Like, you had a milk chocolate bar in front of me and I went in for a piece, like that kind of like just sweet milk chocolate aroma. But as I was pulling it away, yeah, definitely, it has a cereal grain kind of, it's definitely reminiscent of actual cereal. So yeah, Cocoa Puffs for sure. You could say Cocoa Krispies, whatever, very similar. Not very similar as in taste and like how you enjoy them, but I'm just saying it's cereal. It's grainy chocolate, grainy milk chocolate. It smells like Cocoa Puffs or Cocoa Krispies. But I'm not getting any kind of like roasted malt or like coffee or any hop character or anything. This just smells like someone melted down. Like someone took a bunch of Cocoa Puffs and just threw them into a big Imperial Milk Stout. And that's kind of what I think they're going for. Maybe a slight metallic note. I get that sometimes with milk stouts, so that's on me more so than anything else. Yeah, let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Jim. Yeah, I mean, the finish has that grainy cereal-esque kind of vibe to it. It's nice. I'll say off the first rip, I think my 4 out of 5 might be very appropriate on Untappd. First things first, 9%. Body's a bit thin. I would say this is more like higher side of medium at best. So I would like to see a little bit more of like an intensity and thickness and viscosity to the body. However, you know, it's not like super thin. It's just a bit thin for a 9%. Like if you told me this was like 7.5%, 8%, sure. 9%, no, it's definitely thin. The mouthfeel, it has a nice mild to moderate carbonation, so it's definitely carbonated. It's smooth, it's somewhat creamy. I'm sure the lactose helping out in that regard. I don't find the beer like sickly sweet or like cloying or anything, but it's very much of a one note. It's like a one note wonder here. Instead of like a one hit wonder, it's a one note wonder. It's precisely what they say it is. It's a chocolate cocoa cereal milk stout. This tastes like someone took Cocoa Puffs and threw an Imperial Milk Stout, and that's what I'm drinking. From front to back, it's milk chocolate. It's a saturated milk chocolate. On the finish, you get that grainy kind of cereal-esque kind of vibe to it. There's not a lot of the base beer here. Like a lot of times with these beers, I'll be like, oh, I get a little bit of roasted malt or a coffee, or here's some other characteristics from the malt base that I get. Not really. This is through and through Cocoa Puffs. While it does lean sweet, it's not sickly sweet. There is a nice like semi-dry finish. There's not really any bitterness here. So if you're somebody who stays away from like big Imperial Stouts because they're too bitter, this is definitely not one that you would have any issues with. It has, if anything, a mild bitterness, but it's more dry than bitter. It definitely is like 60-40 sweetness to dryness. Go one more sip and then I'll lock it in. I think I'm going to have to give this 2 ratings, or at least talk about, like, I hate to say stylistically because a fucking Cocoa Puffs Imperial Milk Stout is not a style, but we'll say what they're going for and then what I enjoy on a personal preference. 2 ratings we'll have to go with. 9%. The body's a bit thin. I would, if I was doing this blind, I don't think I'd say 9%. I get a little bit of a warming in the chest, but I would say not over 8%. I think the body, in conjunction with the alcohol, would scream more of like just entering the double / Imperial Milk Stout range, so like 7.5% to 8%. So I think it hides the alcohol pretty well, if we're being honest. So how do I want to rate this? I gave it a 4 out of 5 on Untappd when I had it at the fest. Again, we talked about I was many pours deep and whether I liked it or not, and I liked it. I still like it. Do I love it? I do not. I think the lack of complexity hurts this one for me personally. Like I want other like stout characters to come to the forefront, and it's not. It's basically Cocoa Puffs in an Imperial Milk Stout. And if that sounds like your jam, you'll fucking love this, because I think, I was gonna say stylistically, Joe, it's not a style. But for what they're going for, I think I would give this like a 4.5, 4.6. I think they did a fucking fantastic job with it, outside of the body being a bit thin, which is definitely a detriment, and lack of complexity. I think the 2 things. But if you're going to call something a chocolate cocoa cereal milk stout, and you have more or less the mascot from Cocoa Puffs on there, or like the perceived mascot, and you say busted and whatnot, serial killer, I would say that, yeah, this is like a 4.6. Personal preference, just going to keep it at a 4 out of 5 for me personally. Like I can't go any higher. It's good for what it is. I like that the lactose is not overwhelming. I got no metallic notes on the taste, which is beautiful. Sometimes I do get that with milk stouts. I could probably do without the lactose, although if you take away lactose, maybe the body gets a little bit thinner. Maybe the mouthfeel is not as good. Because I think the 2 things about this beer is that I really do enjoy the mouthfeel, and I do enjoy that chocolate character into the Cocoa Puffs character. I just want more with it. That makes any sense. But a 4 out of 5, I think, is a solid score. I think if you like sweet pastry beers and like Cocoa Puffs, like this would be your jam. But for me, I like Cocoa Puffs, and I don't love sweeter beer. So this leans a little bit sweet, and it's also lacking complexity. I think that's the big 2, the 2 gripes, and then a slight gripe is the lack of body. But 4 out of 5, I think, is still pretty nice. So I don't know if they'll rebrew this again. By the time you see this review, it'll be probably close to 2 months old, or 3 months old. Be like 11 weeks old or something. So yeah, anyway, I do like the name of it. I like the label and everything, but 4 out of 5. So thanks again to Jim for this one. It was fun to actually do a proper review after having it at the fest. Price and availability, I have no idea. So Jim or anybody else, if you catch this review, let me know. I would imagine 4 packs of this are probably $20, maybe like $22 or something like that. If this was like $5 to $6 a can or less, I think that's fine. 9%. Imperial Milk Stout brewed with probably a bunch of chocolate and whatnot. I would pay $5 a can easily. And then availability is Kettlehead. I know. Sorry, Jim. I should have went and they're in like 5 or 6 different states. He posted in the comment section outside of New Hampshire. They're in New York. Let's say like they're New Jersey, a couple other New England areas. But there's like 5 or 6 states they're in, maybe 7. So if you want Kettlehead, you got to be kind of in the Northeast range, Mid-Atlantic, somewhere in that realm. If you're outside of that, probably not. But if you're in New York State, we get fresh drops of Kettlehead like every month or so, maybe like every 6 weeks, maybe every 2 months, somewhere in that realm. Pick up their stuff. They make really good stuff in general. Their hop forward beers that I've had recently have been fantastic. Their one collaboration, it was like an Imperial pastry sour. It was fucking, it was like pump up the late night jams or pulp up the late night jams. Fucking awesome beer. So check them out. Jim, can't thank you enough for all the beers you sent or you gave to me to try, but I reviewed them all except for the pulp because I've already reviewed it. It's been a lot of fun, and yeah, I'll definitely be picking up more of their stuff to review down the line. I really dig the vast majority of the beers I've had from them. This is probably my least favorite of the 4-pack, but it's still pretty damn good at 4 out of 5. So I'm going to shut this one down. Huge thanks to Jim. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. If you had this beer, post in the comment section and let me know what you thought about it. Like I said, 4 out of 5, damn solid pastry Imperial Stout, but some concerns from me, but nothing too negative, I hope. I don't like to be super negative in my reviews, but if there are issues for me personally, I like to call them out, and here we are. So thanks to Jim. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.